Possess the clairvoyant power to be able to have the extraordinary mind. So if I share with you one incident years ago when His Holiness visited to the Melbourne. So he stayed in one of the hotels, the hotel in his city, and in the lunchtime, and then of course there was a special lunch was arranged, offered to His Holiness, but all his entourage in the different level, they having a different food, which was a very hosted by one of the Dharma House member students called Joe, who made a beautiful noodle. And His Holiness Dharma said, I would like to have the lunch that my entourage will have it, which is the noodle. He said that. Yeah, so His Holiness was fond of noodle, and so they have to offer the noodle from the So this story was shared to me by his Thalamus member who prepared it as a food for his entourage. And so it's just a small incident, but it does help, if we believe that, His Holiness has this such a extraordinary mind of such like a clairvoyant power, even in terms of our own as a follower. And so if you believe that His Holiness is always present, so wherever you are, and then it helps us to do the right actions, in order to refraining from any negativities, and we will have more sense of the vigilance and sense of more awareness, so that we know that His Holiness is always present, always seeing us. So as many of you might have heard His Holiness Dharma saying not once but consistently that even though I probably I lack any such power, but above me, or behind me, so that there is like deity which we mentioned, the Buddha of compassion, our Lokasthevas is always there. So it is he shared that with us, even though our due to our obstructions, we are not able to see that, but it's always shared that. It says to the public that there is the deity of compassion is always behind it.
자신만 만도 캐내고는 자신만 걸어 두고 만도 내고 말고 나 세는 거야. 나 걸어 너는 다 만도 두고 내고 말고 나 걸어 대한테 누가 내고 말고 옛날 내제도 리아죠. 유민제도 뭐기 아프고신데 만도 계속 저를 내고 나 근데 뭐다 전에 하고 싶어라. 나만 걸어 일 되나? 먼저 장애만 문제가 제일 배우는 거야. 이렇게 먼저 강아지 아시만 개내고 하죠. 아시아시만 개내, 시아시만 야구는 시티로. 아직 깨지고 지어도 그랬어. 너를 깨지고 너무 좋아. 현재 깨지지야 세우고 좋아. 자신만 하고 용을 용을 나래요. 대세입니다. 아주 성도 없습니다. 자신만 하고 용하는 년로 무슨 여러 시간 날 때까지 먹게 주고 쳐를 주고 아래 대대. 먹게 주고 쳐를 맞을 수 없는 거는 손도나 여기 야로는 거를 많이 맞게 야로는 드리는 먹게 되는 거야. 야한테 진짜 먹게 되는 게 뭐야? 여기 소소 야로는 녀석 로이즈에 파도야지 제가지 되나? 제가다. 이렇게 지금 거야. 가래지 고소는 그냥 뭐 쉬지 버리지 그래. 내가 계속 말했다. 아무 그 지켜야 되는 비판은 된다. 지켜야 돼. 신은 되게 더 말. 지켜야 말은 다 신은 되게 더 말.
So if you have a faith in and a belief in this the value of Dharma or the spiritualities, then we have to believe in the future life. You know, that is when we leave this body, then we take another future life, and then for what type of future life, if we ask to ourselves, like we all have deep down, we all have what's called a sense of I. There's an I. We all have that I. So if you ask this I, when you leave this body, what sort of life, future life you want, then of course the answer will be that I want to take a good rebirth. And so therefore it's really important that we have to think of what is it cause, the true cause for us to find a good rebirth in the future. There's some other religion who present the idea of the Almighty God as all creation and then everything. Our praying to that Almighty God is an important cause for for our future destinies. But however, in Buddhism, our future destiny, future rebirth is much depending upon ourselves. How we live our life. That is so important. It's not only for the happiness and for a meaningful life in this current life, but it's also very important for how we live our life. Is also very important for what sort of life we will find in future. So therefore, I was one of the way that which we find ourselves very inspiring, always not forgetting to do the right action, is always remembering our whoever you consider as your spiritual guru, spiritual teacher. So for example here, if your spiritual teacher, very special being, is His Holiness Dalai Lama, so it's important to remember His Holiness Dalai Lama's qualities. He's always watching you, and so when you have that awareness, then you'll be more kind of cautious about your actions, as it is. Like if someone is watching always, then we'll be more vigilant. Out of sense of what we call as a moral guilt or moral shame. Because someone is watching them, out of because of this, we will try to avoid the non-virtues but to adopt the virtuous actions. So therefore, essentially in Buddhism, the main causes for to determine to result the happiness in this, and especially in the future life to find a good rebirth is the adopting as much as possible to adopting 10 virtues and in our life, virtuous action, and to, on the other hand, to refraining from 10 non-virtues. So it's important that even we should, if we consider ourselves something who have faith in Dharma and or spirituality, and we believe in future life, then it is important, as I said before, because we wanted to a good rebirth in future. So therefore, it is our responsibility to that every day, at least every day, we do something to create ensure good rebirth in future, such as every morning when you get up, trying to remember this. Remember to ourselves that for this throughout the day, as much as possible, I will do do the right action. That is to adopt these 10 virtues and to abandon the 10 non-virtues. So even if possible, to try to try to list these, what are those 10 virtues, remembering these, and so and that's how we can, as a believer of the spiritualities, how then we can integrate our spiritual practice in our everyday life. And the puja went really well, and so thank you for everyone, especially to our Omze, chant leader, and all the people who are involved in setting the altar, and really much very appreciated. And I think this center is providing the lunch, so please do stay for that and have a good time.
예, 까라니 대신 지쇼는 이야는 가르쳐서 이제 시원에 말도 하고야 이제 까라니 완전 누만 되고요 말이야. 누만 만드는 능이 돼도 보면 내 디파 괜히 너 디자인 하고야 저선 돈은 디파 먹으러 말은 먹게 집어 봐 손도 야저 손 기도나 하는 거를 봐. 그래서 아무도 거가 정말 손도
so essentially, it's even the spiritual practice or the meditation that we engage in. That's also supposed to be a cause to bring more happiness, more peace in our life, and so therefore now there's no need for me to explain to you about the what we need to do to find a worldly happiness, or worldly pleasures. But if we talk in terms of the spiritual happiness that comes from spiritualities, then we got to remember, just as anything, it's also dependent upon causes, and so therefore, if we always have to remember that if we want something, we have to remember that there's a cause for that, and so therefore we should always recognize, try to understand the causes, and then must take the responsibilities to create the causes. So therefore now, with regard to this as a spiritual practice, such as meditation practice, if we ask ourselves, what is the main purpose of that exercise, spiritual or meditation exercise? So the main purpose is to really to change, bringing some sort of transformation in our mind, from transformation in the sense to replace it. If we have a negative state of mind, so we want to meditation or through spiritual practice, we want to replace that with a positive or the virtuous state of mind. So if we don't achieve that, if we don't achieve any such transformation within our mind, then really there is not much benefit we can derive from meditation practice. We just sit in quietly something and then on some sort of formal posture. Then if that has no effect of this bringing very positive change, positive transformation in our mind, then there is not much benefit. But however, if it brings positive changes, then in our mind, then there is a benefit which we can find, experience, within in the immediate time frame, and also in this practice will then have the impact of us in the future life, such as finding good rebirth, and in ultimately even to achieving nirvana or the liberation or even the complete enlightenment or the Buddhahood. So if we refer to these certain the spiritual teachings, then we talk about, in terms of our spiritual practice, so we talk about the three types of being. There are a small beings, or the being who with a small mental capacities, and the being with a middling mental capacities, and being with a great mental capacities. And so each case, each one of these practitioners, so they whatever the practice they engage in. For example, the person of a small scope, or a small stage of the path. So the through engage in the practice such as meditating on the death impermanence, who realize that the current life that one possesses now, no matter what, how much one achieve, but at the end, we have to leave everything behind and then go to the future. So therefore you realize that realizing that therefore the practice through engaging in the meditation on and developing the understanding of the law of karma and the death impermanence, and then so through this then we'll engage in the practice which will ensure that small person will find a good rebirth in the futures. And so then, having found a good rebirth in the future, then would also create continuously create the same practice, and so in this way gradually the person would have would be able to reach the state of Buddhahood. So likewise, the middling person of the middling scope, then who then not only who have a bit more compared to the small person, the small scopes, or who have a bit more the broader understandings, in terms of the not only recognizing the suffering or the disadvantage in terms of what you accomplish in this life, but also see the suffering nature of in the future life, and in fact in the whole the person the middling scope. So therefore meditate on the fault or the shortcoming of the entire our worldly existence. And so therefore the person of middle scope, so they meditate, and then as I said before, meditation means to bring transformation, to bring change in our mind. So therefore the person of middling scope, so bring up through meditation practice, so would have the cultivating aspirations or renunciations, which is the aspiring to achieve the state of liberation from suffering existence, and so then we have a person of the great scopes who not only see the necessity of freeing themselves, but also the freeing the all other sentient beings from the sufferings, like who, meditating on the, if you're familiar with teaching, so there's things called like a sudden fall cause and effect through those sudden fall cause and effect, then who would cultivate the what's called the Bodhicittas, which is the altruistic mind of enlightenment, and so with that mind, cultivating that mind, this altruism in one's mind, then this person of great scope then they aspire to achieve the state of Buddhahood to benefit all to all sentient beings. So therefore, it's really firstly the important is our own state of mind, which would really determine our actions, the scope of our action, if you like. So even if you engage in certain practice, and then if that practice is not motivated by any of those three mental scope, then it doesn't fit into what we call the spiritual practice. So however, we can understand that whether when you engage in practice, so if you're whether what you engage in practice, whether it's a virtues or not, is determined by the mental scope of whether if you have a mental scope of the small scope, then from that the virtues that you create is the virtue of the small scope, and likewise if the mental scope is accord with the middling or the great scope, then accordingly that virtues become the middling virtues of the middling and the great scope, and so therefore it's if we you'll find in the teaching that how all the stages of the path, and how you can see the possibility of reaching to the complete enlightenment. If gradually through a series of life where we ensure we find a good rebirth, and we ensure in a series of life we ensure we meet with Dharma, we meet with the perfect teacher, and so on. No. Thank you. So initially, I'm supposed to confer the long life initiation to this, so we thought that I won't be, won't recover enough to confer, but anyway, so it's good that we have organized this. So there's a lunch provided by the center, so please stay put. Thank you. So we just finished the puja, which is kind of our spiritual activity. So we had the fortune to engage in spiritual practice. So which the fortune is in Tibetan we use the word karma. So and then now after this we go for lunch, which is the time to enjoy the meal, and so which is like a fortune, to have to enjoy the worldly kind of pleasure. So we have there's a true fortune or true karma.
一般年没啥样的，我也是见过的，这几年都过，见过可以，就是这，你把这几年都过，见过可以吧？看见见过可以没啥，如果的，反正见过可以，见的今年是没办法买的，像这半年就才有，这几年都过，这见过可以就这样。
And as to the various kind of meditation practice that we can engage in, and I think the best meditation is to engage in the practice to cultivate Bodhicitta, which is the altruistic mind of enlightenment. And now there is some misunderstanding that something that meditation means we just sit and just fix our mind or simply on the a specific object, and whereas this meditation is on cultivating bodhicittas, which although it involves some sort of it is considered as a rather analytical, that your mind will be very active in thinking of how you extending this altruistic mental attitude to all sentient beings. But in fact, this meditation on bodhicitta is also a meditation, kind of meditation, and also which also require, as to cultivate a single-pointed concentration, you require to apply all the remedy to get rid of two obstacles, mental thinking and excitement. So likewise, when we engage in this meditation to generate bodhicitta, it's also as important to try to apply all the remedy to and pacify both these two obstacles of meditation, which is mental thinking and excitement.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Generally, I want to see ma. Generally, I get you lesson. The Roma go down the Jera teach us on this. What you teach?
Not long ago, I gave a course in Wonderful, and the course is on generating bodhicitta through the sevenfold cause and effect instructions. And then later on, one of the attendants wrote me a letter, and he saying how beneficial is that letter, that course, which gave him a really good resources to enable him to engage in meditation practice, as well as a great resources to benefit, to help other people as well.
That's just all a lie, but you see, you say, then I then I didn't I'll take it here, man. Send them with the challenge. You say, then I'm a man you will go to like.
Regarding the instructions to generate bodhicittas, there are in the entire scriptures, really there are it focuses on the two main method or the technique or the instructions. So these are the sevenfold cause and effect, and then the method of exchanging a self for others. So really, if you is another story if you're not really keen in this generating bodhicitta, but if you are, then you really must apply it or engage in this, following these two instructions to effectively generate this bodhicitta.
So you're ready. You said, don't go down there, and I said, market to parties. You look at it about you, sit down, pay that to the same condition. You because you are, man, you because that's it, good to my time to the left, my time to the left, then 시장에 때 저희들 새 평지에 이렇게 다 그거 나가면 야 나는 당만도 지나 예불에 주지.
Okay, so this is not, the last bit is not for you. This is something in the monastic debate. They have to be, monks have to have a little bit of thought when we talk about the bodhicitta, not always trying to make a dispute, to discuss, raise an issue to other people, but have to really focus, supposed to be focusing inside ourselves. So we.
거의 내사지 거의 그거 내야 가요 맞아 나도 그거 사진 내야 그거 거네 저렇게 과제 제가 제 연구에 자 너시지 그거는 한 무슨 코드야 봐라 그거 넘어지 봐대 그거는 거기다 과제 데려 봐 깨자 말해 이제 한 넘어지 봐대 그거는 과제 자선된 사바서 아 되는 맞아 되는 Yeah,
we must direct the spiritual understanding and practice towards ourselves. For example, when we talk about achieving liberation from samsara, so we should not think that samsara is some kind of distant place or something outside from ourselves, and where we need to, we got to make sure that we don't go there. But rather, samsara is nothing but is really referring to our own this existence, existence, which worldly existence, which where we take rebirth, where our rebirth in the sense that our the mind stream or this aggregate of the consciousness is being bound to. So as long as this consciousness is bound to this worldly existence, we are subject to all the defects of the samsara, and so therefore talking about achieving liberation from samsara. So we have to think of the point is to free ourselves from these aggregates. So I just mentioned, coming across the word samsara, which in English is a cyclic existence, and then we also hear this saying that how we take a rebirth around this cyclic existence over and over again, and so the liberation is when we free ourselves from this the cycle of birth and the death, or this cyclic existence. So therefore the technical is one who is going around, we have to know when we talk how we enter into cyclic existence, over and over again. And so when we talk about that, we talk about our the aggregate of our mind or the consciousness which when is they take rebirth in this cycle of birth and death, and then all this go around this samsara, or which as I said before, is really referring to this the aggregate of the form aggregate which has been due to the force of the mental afflictions and karma. So as long as our mind, this aggregate of the consciousness of all our mind is subject to take birth in this the aggregates of the mental affliction by the force of the mental affliction and karmas, then we remain in this in the samsaras, and so therefore it's not like to go into samsara or freeing samsara is not like you traveling to somewhere else. So it's just referring to our own this existence, and how when this existence which we are bound to, if that is due to the mental affliction and karma, and then if our mind is subject to that, then we are in we are in samsaras, and then we and we talk about the entering into samsara all the time. So we're talking about entering into these aggregates, the form aggregates, over and over again. So to find out more detail about how a being, how a sentient being enter into cyclic existence, then you need to study what is called as the 12 links or 12 originations. And of the 12, the first link is called is called as the literally called as the first ignorance. The first ignorance, so which is the called as first because that is the first one which served as the first call for us to enter into this cyclic existence. And so this ignorance referring to this the ignorance of self-graspings, or grasping at this some sort of inherent existence self. Thank you. Also, thank you.